What's up, everybody, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Game in a Week show. I am your host, Matt Southwell, and joining me this week, Ashley Dye and Dan Gilbert.
You remembered our names this week?
I did.
In the right order?
Yeah.
Well, what I've actually done, you might not be able to see, is I've put little name tags on the back of your chairs, so that way I can remember. So we're filming just firstly this a little bit earlier than normal because people have commitments on the weekend, apparently. Don't know why I looked at you, it's me with a commitment. So there's inevitably going to be some big news story that we'll probably miss.
Yeah.
Because there's going to be something big, probably breaking right now while we film. So if we did, oh well, it is what it is. And also after a long week, so it could be a train wreck. So stay tuned, obviously. But if you're new to the show for the very first time, this is a weekly show that goes up every Monday where the three of us will chat about the latest news stories in the video game industry. We also then talk about the game releases for that week before picking our favourite game in a week. Now, even though we are still earlier in the week, this is a pretty good week for news. There's a lot of good stories that have come out. And opening up with probably the biggest topic this week, Phil Spencer, head of Xbox, has announced that they will be revealing a new IP at E3 this year. He's basically said that this year's E3 is going to be more focusing on first parties rather than third parties, and he thinks it's going to be their best first party year ever. So guys, obviously always good to hear new games coming out. We've had a few kind of come obviously to this gen: Sunset Overdrive, Bloodborne, The Order.
Yeah.
What do we think that what kind of game do we think they could maybe be bringing to the table? Are we talking AAA, or are we talking maybe more, double A? Not that it's double A, but kind of like a high-end indie, as it were. What do you think it's going to be?
A lesser known, yeah.
Something like an Ori and the Blind Forest. It was still big, but it's not, AAA 20 million budget big sort of thing.
I think they want to bring another big contender in, to be honest, because from what I was reading, they were saying we already have our first-person Space Marine shooter, we have our driving game. I think they want to try and find another gap with something that's going to be as big as like Halo and Forza and stuff.
Definitely, I'd agree with you, because they've addressed. I mean, when they got the rights for Tomb Raider, they specifically said we don't have an Uncharted, and we'd like to have a third-person action adventure game. So they went out and got Tomb Raider. So Phil is obviously identifying all of these different. My mate Phil. Phil.
Yeah.
Good guy, Phil. He is a good guy. You follow him on Twitter. He is a good guy. But yeah, they've got the Tomb Raider. They got the third person. They got the first person who said, they got fighting game with Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
Kind of coming back. They've got their RPG in Fable, although that's kind of maybe fallen away a bit recently.
Yeah, I'd say so.
You've got their MMO games of Smite and Neverwinter coming out.
Yeah.
So I thought, I don't know what you guys think, that either maybe another RPG, kind of maybe something a bit deeper and heavier. We've seen Bloodborne, maybe not quite that dark, but something maybe a bit more intense, or maybe a horror game. Something like that.
Yeah, or, possibly. I've seen a lot of horror games sort of come to the surface recently, and I think there's not been any really good horror games.
I respectfully disagree. Evil Within was a pretty good game. Did you play it?
No.
We should play it. It's a good game.
Okay.
I'll lend it to you.
So I just think that something like a horror game would probably come third party rather than necessarily directly from them.
Yeah,
because it seems like that's the sort of thing that you would farm out.
Yeah, obviously you don't need everything. I mean, we've seen a few teasers about Joe Montana being at Microsoft and everything, and everyone on the internet is all excited about them maybe getting a Joe Montana football, like an exclusive NFL game.
Well, it wouldn't be NFL, it'd be American football with none of the licensing.
Well, I think Madden on EA's licensing runs out soon. Possibly. I might be wrong on that, but
I don't know when it next runs out, but every year people get hopeful and then it just gets renewed for like another 10 years.
I don't know. It'd be interesting. Although, we're avoiding the very obvious question here, Ash. What IP would make you buy the Xbox?
That's a good question.
That is a good question. What would you like to see? What would be like, what would be like, wow, I really kind of strive for that kind of game?
Yeah.
Or do you
actually don't know. I don't know what would be the game right now. That's
it is
actually quite a hard one.
It is a hard question, like, because you don't know you want a game until you see it, really.
Pretty much.
You know, like, I never thought I'd want like a Sunset Overdrive, and then it came out and I was like, yeah, it's a really good, fun game.
Yeah, which I still need to get back to. I've played a bit, but
I don't know. What would you like to see, Ash? Anything in particular that you would like to see them do? That maybe something that the PlayStation has that they do a bit better than.
Yeah, it is a hard question to answer. I mean, I'm a huge Uncharted fan, so I've got high hopes for the likes of Tomb Raider.
There's always room for more. Is that what you're saying?
There is always room for more. I think that's my preferred.
Maybe something more open world. Third person action adventure games. If you look at the forefront of everything that's big now, it's that or first person shooters.
Yeah.
That's the games that matter and that sell. So
I don't know. Would they want to rival the GTAs of this world?
You don't need to. Even if it's not exclusive to your console, it's still shifting enough units.
Yeah.
I don't know. You never rival GTA. GTA is GTA.
Yeah.
And Microsoft are big, but they're not buying Rockstar big.
All over, are they?
I think they're maybe looking at something that's very cinematic. Might be the next way to go, perhaps.
Yeah, maybe something to come across from the PC. I mean, I know they say new IP.
Yeah.
But this is new IP for Microsoft, so they could be taking the concept of a PC game and creating a new game. Obviously, with all this new Windows 10 integration, that's going to be so fluent. Apparently, we'll wait and see. Anyway, there'll be
that's at E3, isn't it?
Yeah, that'll be E3. That's just over a month away. Maybe the three of us will do a party chat episode in the week leading up. We'll do a predictions. And then we'll do another episode showing like how wrong we all were as well. But plenty more of E3 as we get nearer to that. Staying on Xbox, we can't really pass by the fact that there was a new Halo 5 trailer this week. Nothing as major as the last reveals, but we do see it's a lock trailer. It basically kind of shows off this new kind of armor suit that you're going to be able to get if you pre-order the game in GameStop in the US, so that literally is worthless information to us.
I was say it's a pointless story, but
well,
any chance they're mentioning Halo 5,
it could filter down through somewhere else.
Yeah,
they're going to allow surely the UK people to get it somewhere somehow.
Yeah,
it's just a case of who gets that deal.
Yeah,
but the biggest thing I picked up from this trailer was the speed that Locke is moving around at. It's very much almost a far cry from what we know a Halo game to be. Now, the beta came out and everyone did say it obviously is much faster. You've got the sprint, which never used to be a thing in Halo.
Yeah.
Master Chief didn't need to run.
He didn't need to run. And the double jump and all that. Titanfall and Call of Duty have obviously changed and everyone's just trying to keep up. And I don't know, what do you think of...
It's a sign of the times, and I think... I mean, I haven't played much Halo. I've played a bit of Halo, and I'm working through the Master Chief Collection at the moment. And I mean, the speed's never really bothered me, but I think it's quite nice occasionally to have the option to sprint, even if it's there as an option. It's quite nice. Although I like that the tempo of the game is good. Sometimes you can be cornered, and sprinting is something you really need to have.
Yeah. Well, the last thing you want to be is like on your last sliver of health, and then be like, I'm going to get under by cover.
And then walk.
Well,
the thing is, it's all about the game design. Those games were designed to not have sprinting.
Yeah.
So everything was maybe a bit more, close combat. Whereas if you could sprint and move quicker, it's all about the game design.
If you think about when the first Halo came out, like a lot of first-person shooters didn't have sprinting.
Well, no, it wasn't a thing. It literally wasn't a thing, and that's why
you look at
you didn't run in the military back then.
Yeah.
No. Well, you couldn't. All about weight, weighing you down.
Yeah. Well, I suppose
it's
also like the old.
And those 7 guns you're carrying.
Exactly.
With the 10,000 rounds of ammo. Yeah.
I always remember that time when I used to walk around with a rocket launcher in my back pocket.
Yeah.
I'm glad that they kind of addressed that in some games now, where you can just have like a primary and secondary weapon. Like Halo was always true to that, to be fair. You always just had your 2 weapons.
Battlefield was the same.
Yeah. But then some games, it's just like, oh, well, I've got a rucksack, so therefore I can keep up to Now I have a better rucksack, so I can keep 12 weapons in here.
Yeah.
Sure you can.
And you can get them out in an instant. I know from my wife's handbag, you can't get anything out in an instant.
Especially a bag that big.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's Halo 5. There'll be plenty more conversations to be had as we get closer. Even if it's just a conversation of finally breaking Dan down.
Well, he said he's definitely on the Halo.
We'll break him.
It's in my save for later part of my
We
house.
will break.
It's getting closer.
We'll break him before the end of the year.
Yeah, we will.
Another game trailer came out this week. Bit more information in this trailer. A Mad Max reveal. This was a 5-minute trailer. Kind of started showing maybe a bit more of kind of what Mad Max was all about. We see there's a lot of vehicle combat, hand-to-hand combat. It's a big, vast wasteland. The thing I was thinking when I was watching it was Fallout with cars. It was the thing. It's from the guys that made Just Cause, which I liked those games. They do open world, and this trailer made me go from not really caring about the game to actually being, this looks pretty cool. I don't know what you guys thought.
I've been. This has been in my sights for a good year at least. To when the game was first announced, I've been looking for a date of release and when this is coming. And it's a game. I think because I love the movies so much, I was really hoping this is going to be done well, and it follows the sort of the movie, the character well in terms of the cars and the weapons and everything. And looking at this, it's a really detailed trailer, and I think they've got a lot of the detail very accurate.
Yeah.
Are you disappointed it seems to be more set around the reboot rather than the original trilogy as a fan then?
No, that doesn't bother me so much. I'm not like a big, massive fan. I do.
No, I'm
like
just saying
films,
it's because obviously you come from that interest, whereas like I was saying to Matt before, I've not seen any of the films at all.
Nor have I, to be honest.
No, they're good.
I'm interested in the new one though.
Yeah.
It does look pretty cool.
Yeah.
But this game it's not trying to be a tribute to the film. It's referencing the film, and it takes the premise of it.
Yeah.
But it's not it's not a film to game basically conversion, which is good. But yeah, I did see, you might have seen a quick glance. You see the Thunderdome, which is obviously reference to the third.
It was.
I say obviously. I looked it
Tina
up.
Turner appeared in as well as a.
I forget that you're old and these are your films.
Yes, the 80s films were very much me.
I was too busy watching Thomas the Tank Engine in the 80s for me.
All right, Matt, thank you. But no, it's they are really good films, and if you get a chance, even just to watch one of them, definitely give it a watch because they are good. They're quite gory films. Very, he's just a very ruthless character, and it's a good story, and I'm really excited. And I can't believe that this hasn't been done sooner, to be honest, because it's a really good character.
It probably was.
Underused.
We just haven't recognised it.
Well,
it was
possibly.
probably bad.
Well, like now, obviously, we've got so much more capacity
Yeah.
with technology now. You can just make these sorts of games. The only thing I would say at the moment, this is still sat on a September 1st release date,
Yeah.
which is the same as the Phantom Pain, Metal Gear Solid.
Guess which one's getting pushed?
Now, this had the date before Metal Gear was announced. Metal Gear is announced. Whether or not they did it on purpose or they genuinely didn't realise, I don't know, or they were just like, we're Metal Gear, we're going to have whatever date we want, fuck everyone else. But do you think Mad Max maybe pushes themselves a couple of weeks? Do you want to go up? I mean, they're completely different games, but there's a lot of people that will not buy 2 games a week. And, maybe sometimes not even 2 in a month, so...
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's hard for me to say because I'm the sort of person that would buy...
Oh, I would definitely buy both.
4 games a week.
I'd buy whatever game. If it's a game I want, I'd buy it. It doesn't matter how many there are or...
Yeah.
Especially when it's physical. I don't quite understand this logic in my mind. When it's a physical game, I will buy it, I will pre-order it and it will come at release. But when it's digital, I guess because it's just there at the click of a button, if I know I'm not going to play it at this moment in time, it's like, well, I'll buy it when I've got the time to play it. Like Resident Evil, I still haven't bought because I haven't had time to play it. I'll just download it.
See, I bought the disc, so I've got that. Yeah.
But it's like, why do I not apply that same logic to the physical games? No, seriously, I need to know why.
I don't know. Because you want it on your shelf so you can see it at all times.
Just mock me in its cellophane.
Yeah.
So yes, Mad Max, I think it's safe to say, excited for this game now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
hopefully we'll get a bit more information in the lead up to its release, and hopefully it's not a delay. Although
It wouldn't be such a
if
bad
it's a
thing
couple, if
it
it's a
was.
couple of weeks delay,
It wouldn't.
we understand why they're doing it.
Yeah.
It's the kind of game that I would be okay with a delay on. And I think what's nice, just to touch on the type of trailer that it is, it really is very detailed in what's involved in the game, what you have to do.
Yeah, it's very much
as
setting
part of the
everything
game.
out. Yeah,
Which is quite nice to know without just seeing a bit of cinematic trailer and a little bit of gameplay. It's nice to know, well, you'll start off as this is what you'll be required to do, these are the sort of enemies you'll face, you'll have to do this for them, and it's quite nice that it lays out what the type of game it is and what's required of the game. You don't get that very often.
Yeah, because that way you're not walking away from the trailer going, what?
what do I do?
Like,
Yeah, you know what you're in for. It's all about building your car, basically. That's the...
Yeah.
They even say, if it's not clear enough from watching it, they even say those words on the
they do.
voiceover.
Yeah.
And a final thing to touch on, actually, which we didn't, was that the combat, it looks very much like Batman, which is a good thing, because the combat in Batman is awesome.
Very
so
good.
the hand-to-hand combat, that is.
Yeah, it is very good.
And that's only a good thing. And obviously,
scrap metal and things like that as weapons, and just it's a wasteland after all. So it is just weapons and ammo are scarce, I think. So it is just use anything and everything to kill people with.
I hope, closing comment though, that if it is kind of like scraps and stuff, that it doesn't have this annoying thing that all zombie games have, where once you've hit someone with your weapon like 4 or 5 times, it breaks.
Yeah.
It's like, because a giant kind of piece of metal is going to break because I hit someone with it a couple of times.
Yeah.
It's like, no.
It's weaker.
I know it's kind of the equivalent of ammo, but it just annoys me that you have to find a new weapon.
Yeah. Yeah.
I would accept it if you could always repair it.
Yeah.
So yes, things have a certain life, but it's like not full hits.
Well, I must have hit probably 50 people with my golf club in Battlefield Hardline, and it was funny.
I'm so glad you explained that, because like last week at the golf course.
Yeah, had bad rounds.
So, video games, Mass Effect 4. There's been a leak on potentially some of the story and the details of this game. I don't really know much about the Mass Effect trilogy, because
Ditto.
I'm I don't know really. I tried to get into it and I didn't. Dan, obviously you're a big fan, so what did you make of this leak? The fact that it sounds like you're going to be some guy that's maybe combat trained but not a tested explorer, and he's going to have to go and look out and basically repair the kind of establish a new home after the events. So it sounds like it's carrying on from Mass Effect 3, but kind of, I don't know, you tell me the ending.
Like this all sort of like came out off a guy who posted it on Reddit, and so he'd done like a survey that BioWare had put out, so I guess they were basically asking, would you like this kind of thing? I didn't read the survey in context or anything like that, so I don't know where it came from.
Generally people would test games, like they'll kind of like, it's a way of testing, would you like this, would you like this, would you like that,
what works and what doesn't work.
Exactly.
So it might not be true, we're saying.
Yeah,
it's only
exactly.
a report.
It's basically a guy's interpretation of what he was asked as to what it means, and it is taking place outside of the original trilogy. Now, whether that means because of all the complicated part and ending of Mass Effect 3, they basically can't just go, oh, this next game will just carry on. There's just so much variation that I think in order to take a new story, they just need to go, right, we're going to take you and put you over here, kind of thing. So you're out in a new sort of area, just exploring the Andromeda galaxy is where it is, and they've just put little bits and pieces together, like you said, combat trained person. So you're going to have the normal firefight stuff that's always been part of Mass Effect. They've said you're going to be doing sort of like colonizing new worlds, and so you've got to set that up, so it's going to take possibly like the Mass Effect 2 thing where you had to go and find resources by scanning planets and so on to help basically make your ship better at the time, but it looks like you're going to be finding places.
A lot of exploration then.
Yeah,
as always.
You're going to have things like you didn't really play that much Assassin's Creed Brotherhood or anything, but like you could recruit assassins in that and then send them off to do AI missions. you're going to get something similar with that in terms of like you recruit mercenaries and
So
they'll
like
often do things which again bring back rewards.
They had that in Black Flag though, where you had your fleet. You could send your fleet off and stuff.
Yeah,
so
and
like
it's going to have the same sort of thing of building your crew up and so on. They bring back the loyalty missions which they had in 2.
Yeah.
Which make a difference, basically. Like, separate things have different branching tasks that they wanted you to do.
So, yeah, it sounds interesting. Obviously, there's a lot of people that are very
there's
excited.
There's even more in that then. Like,
yeah,
there's so much that there could be.
We're not going to... You can go and read the article, you know. I'm pretty sure you're all literate, so I'd like to hope so. But it's interesting to see this amount of information come out. Obviously, you know, not verified, but... I think it would make sense for a new game on a new generation of consoles. You want to stay true to the fans that saw through that trilogy, but at the same time you want a new start because you've always got new people adapting consoles for the first time.
Yeah, the one thing I'll take from this though is that one of the guys who's been working on the project and so on, he teased at one point saying, "I wouldn't get rid of your Mass Effect saves just yet."
Yeah, but he could just be trolling.
Yeah, but that's the point. As in, like, it's where
I'm sure.
On the scale does that land? Because this is obviously very much like we have taken the basics and just put it somewhere new, to avoid all the complicated parts of what happened previous.
Yeah,
and then you've got someone else at BioWare going, "Yeah, you might still need what you did before." I
suppose it's all just testing. I'm pretty sure no one's going to just delete save files anyway, though. So
No.
And if they do, well, that's their loss.
I think it would be nice in time that we could get to a position where stories do follow on and game saves can carry forward.
Well, Mass Effect was
because that's
like
always
that.
the thing about Mass Effect. It did it 1, 2, 3. You always had that. So,
but you could pick it up in 2 and just do 2 and 3, and you could figure out the story for 1 just at the very start. And same with 3, you could do the basics for what happened previous,
or you could carry on
to make it.
It is good, and we're pretty certain this game has no place in 2015, so there's no confirmed date, but we'll have some more Mass Effect once we get closer.
Everything points to 2016.
Everything. If we have any Mass Effect this year, it will be a remastered trilogy. Let's put it that way, because we love remasters. Ending the news this week, we've got a new revealed game here called Ancestors: The Humankind Odyssey. A very catchy name, nice, short, and sweet, easy to say. Now, the reason this game is interesting is it's coming from the original creator of the Assassin's Creed game. This is, he's left Ubisoft now. He's gone out. He's left the studio to go and make his new game. This is going to be a third-person action-adventure survival game. And you basically will get to relive the greatest moments of mankind, but with a documentary twist. So we don't know too much at the moment. That's about all we know. Those are the 2 quotes we got and a nice little logo. But I just thought it was nice to hear that he's kind of staying true to his original ideas. He obviously has a keen interest in history, and I just thought I'd ask you guys, is there any particular event that you would like to see him bring to a video game? In a fact of third-person action-adventure, in that kind of element of game.
Dinosaurs.
Dinosaurs. Okay.
I don't know.
It's fine. That is some history. I'd rather reserve that for just the Jurassic Park game.
The Lego
or Far Cry. Or the Far Cry game.
Yeah.
I feel Far Cry would be good with dinosaurs.
It would.
But no.
Anyway,
I don't think he's going to go quite back. I think it's more the fact that it's based on mankind and it's even called the Humankind Odyssey. My history's not great, Dan. I know you're the history expert. But I believe dinosaurs were a little bit before the humans. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Excellency.
I was going to say, unless you believe the crazy nuts who would say that dinosaurs didn't exist and we all just sprang out about 2,000 years ago.
Wow, that's just crazy concept. I don't know who would believe in that.
No.
It's almost as stupid as believing in religion. Anyway,
the game.
So I don't know. I honestly have no idea. I'm open to kind of all sort of things. I suppose he's got to be careful that he wants new ideas, but to kind of not just copy what he did in AC, but also AC has also obviously captured some key events in history, you know, through time. You know, we've had like the French Revolution, like Renaissance, Victorian, kind of American Revolution. Those are
Potentially Victorian.
Rumoured Victorian. It will be.
I do like that it's going to be that sort of game, and it does say that it is greatest moments of mankind with a documentary twist. That does
so it's maybe an alternate history.
sort of wet your lips, yeah.
Well, anyone want to just throw a random thing? I'm going to go with the Battle of Hastings. There you go.
Yeah.
1066. It's the only date I know. Well, not the only date I know, obviously. I know today's April 24th.
That's not ridiculously far off. It's like I'm going through very much a Viking phase of stuff that I'm reading and watching and so on. So anything from that, to be honest, I'm not fussed when, but that's, like I said, not that far off what you said.
Yeah, just something we don't really get much of not in this kind of game. You know, if we go to that era, it's kind of more like a grand battle thing, isn't it, rather than like a specific person. But we shall see. So that's pretty much it on the news. We'll move on to the games. It was, like I said, there was a lot of news to discuss this week, but obviously kind of staying true to Assassin's Creed. The first game this week is Assassin's Creed Chronicles China.
Yep.
The Xbox One PS4 game, the first in this 2.5D series that not we revealed, but we spoke about on the show a few weeks ago. This one is 16th century China. You will get it for free if you have the season pass for Unity. Mixed reception on the game at the moment, but I will definitely be... I'm intrigued to check it out just because it's a bit different to normal AC.
Like where it's coming from, like mixed reception, what I'm hearing is gameplay and artwork is fine. It's the story that falls very flat for a lot of people.
So basically...
Which is in part what people play the Assassin's Creed games for. So I guess if they're the people playing it for that rather than the actual gameplay itself, then they're probably the ones who are coming away a bit more disappointed than someone who's playing it for the gameplay specifically.
I think I'd rather go gameplay over story though. People are never happy. People moaned about the Order because it was all story and no gameplay. So
yeah, that's true. There was a lot of story.
Well, they're the ones who like Assassin's Creed Chronicles.
It made for an easy platinum though.
Yeah. The right answer is the perfect combination of story and gameplay, but
yes,
I'm interested to check that one out. We've got Shovel Knight for the PS4, PS3, and Vita. This was a Kickstarter product way back in the day. Has since come to Wii U, 3DS, PC, and that. And this is a 2D side-scrolling platformer, 8-bit graphics, a real tribute to many of the classic NES games. You can see the kind of video games that these guys played growing up. You know, I started playing it last night, and straight away you see like kind of like the Super Mario kind of world style, you know, like laid out with the paths and going off into the different worlds and stuff. And you know, if a little bit of Mega Man in there from like kind of the fact that you have like boss battles at the end of each level and stuff like that. I'm really liking it. Some very clever platforming, and hey, it was almost voted Game of the Year at a lot of places.
A lot of people like this game.
It was shortlisted for a lot of people, so not that many people can be wrong, can they? I don't know.
No, I think when you've got
about 20 million people are subscribed to PewDiePie, so a lot of people can be wrong. Is that YouTube suicide? Bashing the guy that's the most subscribed channel on YouTube? That's fine, he annoys me. Any of you guys picking this one up or have already?
I think I'll look at it because, like I said, a lot of people seem to like it, so why not?
Yeah. Did you guys enjoy Rogue Legacy?
Enjoy isn't a word I'd use.
Enjoy. Okay. Did you?
I had frustration.
Frustration.
Frustration. Yeah.
That's a good word. But yeah, no. I mean, it is a lot different to that, but it.
I think it's nice to have these. It is nice to have the retro games. If they're done well, it's just nice to have them for nostalgic purposes.
Yeah, I think I would definitely recommend if you guys find some time just to sit with it. You know, you've like I said, you got Zelda, Mario, and all that in there. You know, you must have liked those games growing up. When you were a Nintendo boy as a kid.
All right. And how many digs at my age you can have today?
That's not a dig. You don't have to be old to be a Nintendo boy.
Okay.
I wish I'd said you were an Atari boy, then maybe that's
Who says I'm not?
Like, yeah, Nintendo. It was Nintendo versus Sega in the 90s. We all had the option. I just chose the wrong one. Unfortunately, well, I didn't. My dad did, but there we go. Infinity Runner for PS4, Xbox One. This is the Infinity is the largest spaceship ever built. So it's not an Infinity Runner. It's just a very, very big ship that you don't probably ever get to the end of. But it's not an infinite runner. It's basically, we looked at it before, it's kind of like a pretty graphics first-person temple run in outer space.
Yes.
I like the look of it though.
No.
Really?
I do, yeah.
I do like the look of it, but it's just like... Well, I suppose it is only £5, so maybe for £5 it's worth looking. But if this is £5, it's worth checking out Shovel Knight for £10.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay.
Just buy the ball, Ash.
Ah, yeah.
No, I mean, like, it looks alright. I'd have to read some reviews about. I don't want to spend £5 on a game, but I'm going to enjoy it for half an hour and then never play it again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, it's the kind of game that might end up on Plus eventually, anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, you're right.
We'll actually find out next week, probably.
Well.
Brawl, another PS4 game. This basically looks like Bomberman from the trailer.
That is the impression, yeah.
There's a little bit of kind of some sort of like horror weird twist to it. I wasn't quite sure.
It looks like they're trying to put some horror story in there, but I'm not.
It's not overly scary. It's just a bit creepy and weird.
Yeah.
They describe it on the PlayStation Network as step into the darkness of the Emporium with 8 unique characters, each with a rich backstory and surprising plot twist. Fight your way to the end using different playstyles, from pure brutality as a wrestler to hiding in the shadows as an elusive thief. Doesn't really say much, does it?
Nah, not really.
No.
So Tropico, I was going to say Tropicana then. Is that a drink?
It is.
It's also a song by Wham. Again.
Come on.
Showing your age.
Come on. Like, you just...
I'm not old. Wham.
Club Tropicana.
You need a shovel for that grave. Maybe a shovel knight. Oh, I almost got through the show without making a terrible joke.
You did.
Right, we're starting again.
No, we're not. Tropico 5.
Tropico 5. Construction management simulator for the PS4. Previously a PC game. These kind of games. Always, I personally feel are much more at home on a PC with the mouse.
Yes.
Don't know how it's going to work with the controller. Based on my time with Scream Ride and the construction simulator and that controller gave me a lot of rage because it's not the same. You don't have the same freedom that you have with a mouse.
No, you don't.
You need
but it looks
really
cool.
fine detail for these sort of things, don't you? In terms of your movement.
Exactly.
You don't get it.
And there's a lot of menu navigation as well,
Yeah.
which you can get through a lot quicker when you've got a keyboard of hotkeys rather than 15 buttons or however many you have. But it looks cool on like a little island, building. You can basically, apparently players build on the same island and you can either work together to build like an empire.
It's got multiplayer function.
Or you can actually compete against each other to see who reigns the island, which I thought was quite cool. Probably not going to pick it up on the console though.
No.
Happy Wars for the Xbox One, which is a large-scale online multiplayer action game.
Is this one you referred to as Crappy Wars?
I don't know what you're talking about. I would never make terrible puns like that. I'm actually offended that you would use this. But yeah, this is it's an action war game, but it's very weird that it's kind of so
it's very
colourful
cartoony and kiddishy in its look.
Yeah, when I first saw it,
or its characters rather.
It looked like a Clash of Clans and all that kind of.
Yeah, it's
not in terms of the gameplay, but the art style. That kind of colourful, round characters. And,
that's just one that's not meant to be taken seriously.
No,
in terms of obviously its
look. I may be wrong here, but I probably am. Let's be honest. But when I was on the Xbox store on the internet, it said that this game was free.
Yeah.
So, free to play game. It's worth checking out if that is the case.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, It doesn't cost you anything.
Yeah.
Unless you don't have an unlimited internet supply.
I think it's probably working on the same way as Loadout does, in that you don't have to pay for it, but if you want to get ahead,
yeah, you buy
then
for
you
like
buy
extra stuff,
something,
extra levels, extra characters, power ups,
Yeah.
etc., etc.
Yeah.
And then just closing out a couple of games we've spoken about over the last couple of weeks, so we won't go into huge details. Ziggurat for the PS4, previously Xbox One. This looks like a roguelite first-person shooter. Looks pretty fun from what we saw last time. I think I picked it as my game of the week that particular week.
You did. I think you did.
Random levels, random enemies, kind of like similar to the Tower of Guns, I suppose, in that regard.
Yes.
Yeah.
That we talked about, but a little bit different to that. More of like a
little bit more fantasy-ish, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's magic and
dungeons and stuff like that. Yeah. LA Cops PS4, previously of Xbox One. It's basically
This is the comedy one, wasn't it? That came out at the same time as.
It wasn't a comedy one. It's the 70s LA Cops. Kind of got a very nice visual art style.
Oh, that was the one. Yeah.
Yeah, we made the joke that like they got that because they couldn't have Hotline Miami.
That was it.
Yes.
It was the same week, I think.
Yeah,
it was.
And obviously PlayStation have got both now. So
Yes.
console war over. PlayStation wins. So yeah, if you are interested in that one, check that one out. I think it looked pretty good actually.
I thought it was interesting.
Yeah, I quite like the sort of 70s.
It was just sort of
style.
a little bit
It's your
weird
age,
that they
isn't
didn't
it?
have any
Yeah.
faces on the characters.
That's
Oh, yeah,
right.
yeah, they didn't
it was
have eyes and
moustache.
stuff.
Yeah,
It's just a
They
moustache.
just had the moustache, the handlebar moustache.
And then of course the aviators.
Yeah.
The obligatory moustache.
Yes.
And then closing out the games, we have Aaru's Awakening for the Xbox One.
Yeah.
Previously PS4, PS3. We've already spoken about this game twice because it was obviously PlayStation Plus announced and then it actually came out.
Yeah.
Kind of a very colourful art style. This was the one I think that was all hand drawn by some
Yes.
students. So everything's been all hand drawn. Like it sounds like a sweatshop style. Like, we get the students to draw it. They won't charge.
Yeah.
But no, there's a couple of students made this game in their free time. Looks pretty cool. I believe there was it was inspired by the Unreal Tournament teleporter gun,
Yes.
which is like one of your main weapons in here. You teleport you use it to kind of navigate the
It's
map.
basically
and
your
stuff.
main way of navigating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that looks cool. But Xbox One, you can get it on there if that's what you've got. But go and get it for free now while you can on PlayStation Plus.
Mm-hmm.
That is where the smart money would go,
Or not.
or
money.
not go because there's no money.
Yeah.
But is it?
Apart from your
Is it?
PlayStation Plus,
It's still playing for PlayStation Plus, so technically it's money.
Okay, yeah.
So
Yeah.
would it be smart money?
I suppose it would.
Yeah.
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 Anyway, talking of smart, what's your choice this week?
I'm probably going to stick with Infinity Runner just because it's £5. I'm interested to see how the game plays, and I'm going to give it a whirl. For £5, I don't think I can go wrong.
Well, you could,
Well, I
because
obviously
it could be
go wrong.
because it could be absolute
It could be a
trash.
pile of crap. Yeah.
Yeah.
But
we haven't played it. We're not in a position to
But
comment. but yeah.
I've got high hopes. Yeah.
Never set his hopes high.
Okay.
I'll be disappointed.
Okay.
Reasonable hopes. Dan.
Two for sort of like two different reasons. Like Shovel Knight because
Whoa, what are we doing? Ash starts it last week with the two, and now you're doing two. It's game of the week, not games of the week. Sorry, carry on.
I retract. Shovel Knight.
No, go on. What did you
I was
actually...
going to say Shovel Knight because the one that I think I really do want to play because of its views and so on. And then the one that I'm interested in as the side thing is LA Cops.
Yeah, that's right. Oh yeah, because you can now play it.
Yeah.
Because you held out. Should have bought that Xbox there. You could have already had a good couple of weeks of it. But no, I'm actually interested in that one as well. But I will be picking Shovel Knight. I've only played half an hour, but I can already tell going to have a lot of fun with it. But I am also, while we're all picking two, I am very intrigued in how Chronicles is. I will be downloading it at some point. And then probably the 20 gig patch that comes with the standard Ubisoft games on like a half a gig game. But yeah, Shovel Knight is my choice for this week.
Yeah.
And there we go. That's it for this week. Went a little bit long, as always. Now it seems it's not long. It's just normal now.
Yeah.
We just drag it out and
It's the
waffle
news.
on.
It's the news. It's the news. We think, we got loads of time, and then all of
Yeah.
a sudden,
Yeah.
We don't. Yeah.
It's just because I enjoy your guys' company so much. The time just flies.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We'd do this every day if I could. It's that pesky job getting in the way. Unfortunately, we're not getting enough money, and by enough I mean any money from YouTube. So if you have enjoyed this video, please do give it a like, subscribe, share us with your friends so we
send
can
$1
to my Nigerian bank account. Yes, leave any comments down below about any of the news this week. What do you think of Mad Max? What do you think the new IP will be? Also, any of the games, let us know if you're playing them, what you think of them. But for now, Ashley,
Matthew,
Daniel,
Matthew.
thank you for your time, as always. And everyone out there, we will see you next Monday.